I wanted to do this video for a while. It might be a little different from my usual things, might even be a little weird or stupid, but at the end of the day, I hope you enjoy watching it. A week or two ago, I was watching a video by Mickey D. It was about going out of bounds in Oblivion. After watching that video, my mind started to think about many things. I've always dabbled with the art of going out of bounds in games ever since I was a child. Seeing something that I'm not supposed to see, uncovering locations that hold no meaning or break the laws of reality. There's this curiosity of what happens beyond the boundaries that I want to talk about. What goes on in Cyrodiil when you're playing Skyrim, and vice versa when you're playing Oblivion. In my short experiment, I loaded up Oblivion, went to Wild Eye Stables outside Bruma to start my journey. What I was going to do is go into Skyrim, which was exactly to the north of my position. The map did give me directions for a road that leads northward bound, but phased away near the border. I got on my trusty steed and started this adventure. The thing is, when I played Oblivion in 2007 as a 12-year-old kid, I always used to wonder, what are these places that are on the map? Skyrim, Hammerfell, Morrowind. I used to think what they looked like and what type of terrain and geography they would have. I hadn't played Morrowind at that point. I was curious about it too. On my journey, as I suspected, the road just disappeared. I could make out a little path that led into the mountains to the north, and I decided to follow that path. As I climbed up the path, it became a steep climb, but my horse was adept enough to cross through it. Then I reached the snowy peaks of the mountains, which would be the mountains located in the south of Skyrim. Then a valley. I was sort of awestruck. There was a forest, plants, mountains besides me, but no signs of life. No human-made structures, towns, or anything. Even a single brick or stone would have been enough to let me know that someone had been through here. But no, it was nothing. Just a huge landmass that gave me odd sorts of feelings and thoughts. Like a subliminal space, I guess. First I thought, is this what the in-game characters do to go into Skyrim? Even if they do, what do they even do here? Then came a break in reality, something that broke the illusion, a clear line that separated worlds. I prayed to the 9 divines and moved on into the abyss, leaving my horse behind. As I moved on into Skyrim, I tried to look for anything that would make me think that other people come and go through this place or even live here. Then I started thinking, do the people of this world know that there is nothing outside of the mountains? The places that they refer to like Skyrim or Morrowind are nothing but empty landmasses. Skyrim is a real place, right? Like inside this universe. We saw it 5 years later after Oblivion came out. But then, what happened to Cyrodiil during the events of Skyrim? Let's get back to that in a minute. After running for what seemed like an eternity, I thought I had reached the northern shores of Skyrim. Much to my dismay, I had a long way to go. During all this time, I kept going back to my childlike wonder. I used to think and imagine about the towns that were supposed to be here, but there's nothing at all. Then I reached the absolute limit of this landmass or world or whatever you want to call it. There was a flat surface and endless land that stretched on into the horizon. I was still searching for the northern shore, but then I realized that maybe I'm underneath the shore. I got myself up in the air and there it was. The northern shore of Skyrim, but not a single soul in sight. I returned back to Cyrodiil and planned my trip into the future. A few hundred years later, I ended up in Skyrim, by which I mean Skyrim takes place a few hundred years after the events of Oblivion. I could not see any roads on the Cyrodiil side of the map, but I did spot a road to the south, which would be the road that leads into the country, and the road from where we were likely captured by the Imperials at the start of this game. If we draw an almost straight line from that road to the northernmost end, we would encounter Helgen, Riverwood, Whiterun, and Dawnstar. I started off my journey from Dawnstar and retraced my steps to Helgen. I first looked out to the sea, where I had ended my previous journey. What's weird is that when you think about this place existing in the world, it's here, but it's not here either, right? Or what about Whiterun? It's a big city. It's been there for thousands of years, but where was it when I went to see it in Oblivion? What happened to all its people? Maybe the Divines enacted their powers and removed all of Skyrim's inhabitants from reality. Maybe in-game that's a thing. Maybe the Divines have become sentient, even though they are a work of fiction. Who knows? Riverwood looked beautiful at sunset. I passed through it, appreciating all of its beauty. I could not say the same for Helgen. During the start of the game, this town gets burnt down by Alduin. The road into Cyrodiil was right next to Helgen, so I made my way there. When I played Skyrim in 2011, I used to do the opposite of what I did while playing Oblivion. I used to think about all the people I knew in Cyrodiil as a kid. What had happened to all of them? Did they all live a happy life after I had left? Elves live up to 100 years. Maybe some of my elven friends are still alive in Cyrodiil. Or maybe they just left as well. This constant shifting between the reality of the game and reality of my own is something I always did. I don't even know if I'm making any sense up to this point, but I really hope you get what I'm trying to say. There's so many thoughts when you break out of bounds. To some it may be something like, cool, so this is what it looks like. But to me, this feels so weird. I'm not supposed to see all of this, but I want to see more of it. And this Grand Canyon in northern Cyrodiil was breathtaking. This would be one hell of a route to travel through. The out-of-bounds area in Skyrim was even more magnificent than Oblivion's. It's as if the Divines had lifted up chunks of the planet, and I was walking through the aftermath of such an event. Then I saw it, the tower in the Imperial City. It made me so happy, made me realize the Imperial City does exist in the game. In this reality. It certainly does in Oblivion, but seeing it here was even better. But as I got closer, reality again began to break. I lifted myself up and went closer to the tower. As I got closer, all of my memories from Oblivion started to play back in my head. But then, I realized I was just standing in the middle of a facade.